Greetings and hello to everybody. It's Allie at Heart and Soul Connected, and welcome back. And I'm pleased today to have Louise Eddington from Cosmic Owl Astrology. Welcome, Louise. Thank you.
Thank you for asking me, Ali.
Absolutely. I've been so enjoying listening to some of your podcast style, astrology. And I thought, well, you would be a great addition to the community of people that don't know about you so that they can learn all about you. And hi guys. Hi Larica. Hi MK Karen. Squatty O'Date. It's nice to see you. We usually get a lot of people that come through in the chat and do a lot of talking. So
fantastic.
Yeah. All right. So I have to tell you, one of my very favorite animals is an owl. I love them. And I'm going to ask you right off from the start, since that's the name of and I love the name, Cosmic Owl. What made you decide? What made you decide that name?
Oh, well, it's quite the story. I've always liked owls myself. I have various owls dotted around the place. And I was trying to think of a name for my business. And there's an asteroid called Pallas Athena. And the goddess Pallas Athena's symbol is an owl. And my Pallas Athena is exactly conjunct Jupiter, which is my ruling planet in my chart.
Oh,
so
beautiful.
It was a no-brainer.
It's like kismet, right?
Yeah.
Wow, that's wonderful. Yeah, they are amazing creatures. And when I see them, which isn't often, one day I remember I live out in Kent, Washington, and I live sort of out not of the city area. So I have an acre and a half. And one morning I could hear an owl outside, hooing, and oh my God, it was wonderful. I loved it.
They're amazing. I don't seem to see them very often in the wild, but we have a place down in Tucson too, and we go to the Desert Museum down in Tucson where they do the raptor show, and so I go there when I can. So.
Oh, that's awesome. My brother lived there for a while, and I remember seeing some at the RV place that they were staying at, and of course they eat. I guess they eat rabbits, and you can see them all up in the trees, and I didn't like that, but they got to live, so you got to put up with it. Yeah,
that's just nature.
That's wonderful.
You are getting a lot of people. Hi, everybody.
Yes, there are. There usually are, and they're very wonderful. I love my people, and thank you all for coming by and meeting Louise today, everybody. I appreciate you. Yes. And if you have any questions as we go along, either Louise or the people in the chat, let us know, and I will ask Louise, and we will get some answers, hopefully. So there's a couple things that I brought to my attention that I wanted to talk about, because I was thrilled to hear that you have written some books. You've written 2 books on astrology and a 3rd book that's, I guess, not ready to publish just yet, or it is?
It's going to be out in March. That's
March.
Astrology and tarot.
Using astrology
to understand the tarot. These are the 2 books.
Awesome. Beautiful.
This one's a bestseller.
Oh, it is? Can you get that? Can you get that on Amazon or Barnes & Noble or
Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Indie Bound? They're all right. So this one is number 1 in astrology for ages.
That's awesome. That's awesome. There's a lot of people here that are very interested in astrology, and we've had some astrology people on, but and I'm sure you know this. It's complicated, and not everybody understands. It takes a while for people to learn.
Well, I've been studying it since 1989 formally.
Good for you. Yeah, no, and I've been in metaphysics studying one thing or another since about 87, and I love astrology, but I'm not good enough to put pieces together like you guys
are. And I still feel like I learn something.
Do you?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're still learning, I guess, no matter what age or how long you've been doing it. Yeah, we can always learn more. You mentioned in one of your shows about, is it Ceres?
Series, people say it different ways. Ceres,
Ceres. Isn't that one of the moons of one of the planets, right?
No.
Okay.
Ceres is actually an asteroid in the asteroid belt, but she's
Oh,
been reclassified as a dwarf planet.
oh,
You know,
okay.
most people have heard that Pluto got demoted in
Yes, right.
2006, right? Well,
Hmm.
it was on the discovery of a dwarf planet called Eris, who's actually the goddess of discord, that
Ooh,
Pluto was demoted and
right.
Ceres was promoted to dwarf planet, and we've got this
Mhm.
whole new classification of planets called dwarf planets now.
Oh,
So
wow.
Ceres is officially now a dwarf planet. So.
And what do they rule? What does it rule
Well,
usually?
nobody's really sure.
Okay.
She's the goddess of the grain, though, so I consider she's associated with Virgo.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Yep. That makes a lot of sense.
yeah,
And so you labeled your work in astrology as sort of soul astrology.
yeah.
Is that so? Tell us a little bit about
Mm.
what that entails, or is it just regular astrology? I don't know. So,
Well,
yeah.
no, there's many. Astrology has so many uses, and
Yeah.
I'm more interested in the evolution of the soul in this lifetime, and kind of the more
Mhm.
psychological depths of astrology rather than pure predictive
Sure. Sure.
astrology, and
Yeah.
or this horary astrology where you ask a question to find your keys, and they all work. But I'm more interested in what I call the soul astrology. So
So would it be reincarnational? Could it be
yeah,
reincarnation?
yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
mhm,
Okay.
yeah.
Wow.
I formerly studied as an evolutionary astrologer, uh, which it talks a lot about past lives and
Uh-huh.
reincarnation. Yeah. Mm.
Oh. And do you do anything with there's another astrologer that I've worked with that tries to find out where the star seeds are if you have alien roots. Have you ever done any of that?
Yeah,
No. Okay. That's
yeah.
fine.
Yeah,
Everybody's
I've
different,
done.
does it different
Oh, it
ways.
is. Yeah, yeah. I mean, like I say, I learn something new every day, and
Yeah.
I think it all has validity. Just you can't cover everything. So
No, that's true. No, I agree 100%. Yeah. But you also match in with cards.
yeah,
Um, so if
and
you did
also
a reading,
I'm
oh,
also
okay.
I'm also a shamanic practitioner.
Are
So
you?
so
Oh, wow.
I do a Venus retrograde class, which I'm in the middle of running right now, and I do
Oh,
shamanic journey work in my classwork and
okay.
yeah.
So that's fabulous. Now, when did you start learning about shamanic journeying yourself in order to become a
Ooh,
person that teaches it?
probably about 8 years ago, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's
Yeah.
but that's formal learning.
Yeah. Yeah.
Kind of that path actually started in 1989 too, when I got invited to actual proper Indigenous or Native American sweat lodges. So I was lucky enough to go and actually go out into the woods and build a sweat lodge with an elder and then
Wow.
sweat. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
that's
didn't
fabulous.
I had no clue how, how special that was at the time. I
At
was
the
just
time.
like, "Yeah,
Yeah.
okay."
Yep. Yep. That is amazing. So this is Larika, and actually
Oh,
Larika just she's my Reiki teacher. She just
oh, nice.
installed me into Reiki 1, and she lives
Mhm,
in Sweden, and so she wants to know
mhm,
what is the Venus retrograde class
mhm.
of, I mean, what do you do in that class, I guess.
Yeah, I just take people on a heroine's journey really into kind of,
Mm.
into the center of the retrograde. I teach them a lot about the Venus cycle and about the myths associated with it, like the myth of
Uh-huh.
Inanna
Right.
and so on and
Right.
so forth. Then I do a lot of shamanic healing work in it. We end up doing a group shamanic dismemberment and soul retrieval, and it's very
Ooh.
magical. It's one of those classes that came to me in a dream. Venus
Uh-huh.
in
Yep.
2017, Venus, I woke up and said, "Oh, Venus says you're going to do this class." So,
Wow. I love that. I love that. That is so cool. That
yeah,
is really wonderful.
yeah.
Um, I'm actually a humanities teacher, so I teach a lot of mythology and so on.
Oh, right.
And I love the hero slash heroine's journey. It's always been there for me in any, because I teach literature and we talk about
Yeah.
that in different story, and I love that. It is very interesting. Thank you for
So
yes,
you
Lorraine.
probably know the heroine's journey is a
I
bit different
do.
from the
I
hero's
do.
journey, yeah, and all that.
Yeah.
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 Have you discovered the book? the heroine with 1,001 Faces yet? Oh, amazing.
I've read Campbell's on the hero, but
Oh, yeah.
yeah. And you know who else I love is and I started reading her probably back in the late 80s is Clarissa Pinkola Estes, and
Oh, yeah.
she does so much work with us feminine,
Oh, she does.
yeah, I love it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh.
Yeah. So
Thank you, Tracy.
as you can tell, oh,
I'm
you know,
actually wearing green for Venus because
okay.
we're in the middle of the Venus retrograde, and green is one of Venus'
Oh,
colors.
yeah.
So thank you.
Very, very beautiful. Yeah, it's very nice. Different shades. It looks like you're wearing malachite.
It does a bit, doesn't it? But
Yes, it does.
I'm also wearing copper, which is Venus's
Okay. Yep.
metal. So
Yep.
I tend to try and work.
Isn't copper one of the grounding minerals?
Yeah,
I would think it would be.
it
Yeah.
is. And
Yeah.
Venus is in an earth sign
Right.
at the moment. So to me, it's
Uh-huh.
a very earthly journey. So
I'm a Libra, so I'm ruled, I think, by
you're
Venus.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
That's very interesting. Yeah. So by her accent, you can tell that she is not born in America, I guess is the best word.
Yeah.
But Louise, were you born in England? Is that where you were?
Yeah, I was born in England, and
Mhm.
my family moved around the UK quite a bit. But then I'm a Sagittarius. I've got Sun, Mercury, Mars,
Yeah.
Jupiter, and my rising sign all in Sagittarius.
Oh my
So,
goodness.
so
Wow.
in my mid-20s, I kind of took off. I lived for a year in Canada. I lived for 4 years in Connecticut. Then I moved back to the UK. Then I got married, and we moved to Australia. Then we moved here. So
You sound like me. I haven't lived internationally, but I have lived in 11 different states, and it's not because of military. It was
no,
just I'm a nomad, you know.
yeah, I
But
like
that's
moving.
fascinating. Yeah, all your planets in Sagittarius. Wow.
I
My
know.
daughter's a Sag. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And she's always shooting arrows off, you know, but
Oh
she
yeah,
loves
me too.
travel. She really does. She's a big traveler, and she gives up everything else just to travel. So,
Yeah.
yeah, that's really
Yes.
awesome.
Yeah, a lot of fire, Tracy. Yes.
Uh-huh. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So how do you integrate your tarot cards
Mm.
with the astrology? Like if I came to you for a reading, would you do both, or do you just give us
I
an idea?
usually just do the astrology, but but then I'll sometimes, feel called to pull a card at the end. I'm bringing tarot in more and more.
Mhm.
I use it with I have a membership community called the Venus Enchantment Community, and I pull them cards a lot and pull the card of the day mostly for them.
Okay. Okay.
So, and of course, I use it for myself. I don't do standalone tarot readings yet.
Okay. It's
I
just
might,
an adjunct to whatever you might feel to pull. Yeah.
yeah,
I'm not a tarot reader myself. I
yeah.
really am pulled toward the oracle cards, but they're just a tool, you know, like everything else is. So.
Exactly, yeah. I started
Mm.
with oracle cards, but I gravitated more towards the astrology because there are definite astrological
Oh,
symbolism
definitely.
in
Yeah.
tarot.
Yeah. Do you
Yeah,
also do progressed charts as well
yeah.
for,
Mhm.
okay. I didn't know, you know, everybody does it a little bit differently,
Oh,
but
yeah.
you don't do Vedic, you do the regular.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I do,
Okay.
tropical Western
Yeah.
astrology. Yeah.
Uh-huh. I mean, I don't even know if a lot of people know there is two different types of astrology like that, but I would feel more comfortable because I'm more used to the
Yeah.
regular Western. Yeah. Yeah.
And Vedic astrology and Hellenistic astrology, they're very predictive, which is not my
Mhm.
which is not really my thing anyway. So not for
Sure.
events anyway. I predict how things are going to feel and how your soul's
Mhm.
going to evolve. So
That's awesome. When I was much younger and really dabbling my toes at first into you know, having my charts and things done, this woman gave me a reading that blew my mind at the time. Of course, everything was done by hand.
mm,
And she asked me of different dates. Like she said, in 1984, did this happen? In 1958, did this happen? And she's asking me all these questions. And I'm just going, oh my
mm.
God.
I
And
know I
yeah,
do that.
do you? Oh, it was
Well, or I
amazing.
did something major happen in your career in this year? And they go, "Ooh." And I've
Yeah,
done
yeah.
blind, I've done what's called blind readings,
Uh-huh.
where I just record a reading for a person and I've never met them or anything.
Right, right.
And you get comments like, "Oh, one client's husband said, you must have told her all about you." And she's
Oh,
like,
right, yeah.
"No, I didn't."
The old skeptics, yeah. So all
Yeah.
you're going by is the birth date and that's it kind of, right? Yeah.
Time, date, and place.
Yeah,
Yeah.
time, date, and place. Yeah.
Mm,
Wow, that's amazing.
mm.
This is an interesting aside. There's some women on here that I feel particularly close to that have their own channels, and they all have. I have a Capricorn rising sign. My husband does. They all do,
Oh,
and I just thought that was interesting.
it is.
Yeah, and if you I know that your rising sign sometimes is the way you present yourself to the world. I
It
guess it
is.
is.
It's also kind
Yeah,
of what you're becoming more of as you age.
becoming more of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I teach at the college level, and this, but I've also been heavily involved in business before, and so I can understand. I understood that part of it, but it was very interesting how people can gravitate and not even really know,
Oh,
but
yeah.
once they start putting those pieces together, yeah,
It is.
that's
It is kind of funny. I have Saturn in Capricorn in my first house, which does kind of nicely ground all of my Sagittarius stuff. But I have
uh-huh,
a healthy dose of Capricorn, so I have quite a few Capricorn, or Capricorn rising people in my life too. So
uh-huh.
yeah,
That's interesting. Yeah,
yeah.
and I also heard that it's the least. Uh, I guess it's the least birthed sign of all. Is that
I'm
true?
not sure about that.
Not sure. I've
Yeah,
heard it somewhere, but
yeah,
in other words, if you added up how many people were Pisces and this and that,
yeah,
Capricorn's the less, but might have to do with um, the 9 months before, maybe
probably.
the people weren't so amorous. Yeah. Oh dear. So one of the other things I heard you say, and I think it's fabulous. I am a big tarot.com reader. I go there
Oh,
all the time and do what I can. And I hold on a minute, please.
yeah.
Thank you. Okay.
Mhm.
Um, sorry, got interrupted.
That's
And
fine.
I just heard that you are going to be a writer for
I
tarot.com.
am, and
Oh my God, tell us about it.
I'm
Tell us.
writing my first horoscopes right now.
Ooh,
I'm in a group. This year I became, or last year now, I became certified in what's called Ariel Gutman's Venus Star Point work. And so I'm in
okay.
a group of people that all work with Venus because I love Venus. And
Uh-huh.
one of those members has become the kind of hiring kind of person for who hires all the horoscope writers. Anyway, she
Uh-huh.
asked if any of us would be interested, and I'm kind of taking a bit of a leap, which is very Sagittarian,
Yep.
to
Yep.
to actually write love horoscopes for tarot.com. I'm one of a team of writers. There's going to be 3 or 4
Okay.
of us because
Yeah.
we're writing daily horoscopes. You can't do that for 12 months of the year without
No,
burnout.
absolutely not. Yeah. Yeah. Uh-huh. I mean, even I'm sure you've heard of Susan Miller. She does
Oh yeah,
all of them for the month, and I don't even know how she does that. She does,
I know.
she's late a lot, but she's
Yeah,
fabulous. I just don't know. She must not do anything else.
yeah. I
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
just thought it was another good practice for me, writing muscle and writing to all the different signs, because I tend to give a bigger overview when I do my forecasts and my podcast and things.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so it's just another stretch for me.
You know what? I love that because it's all about no matter what age we are,
Mhm.
continuing to learn and
Yeah,
continue. That helps us grow and helps us. And that's why also that I feel so compelled to bring new people to my channel so other people can find them too,
definitely.
and have the benefit of that what wisdom and different look, a different,
Yeah,
a different perspective as from other people might have. So
mm,
that's fabulous. I really love that.
yeah.
So when you started in 89,
Mm.
um, gosh, I think my big start probably was 87 when I went to the harmonic convergence that was held in New Hampshire at my friend's father's business, which is called America's Stonehenge.
Oh yeah.
Yes, and so we went there and saw the sun come up and watched everything, because they have all these ancient stones, and they're placed just in a certain way. And it was wonderful. And there was so many different people there. There were hippies there. There were medicine men and all kinds of things like that. And so then if you went to the store at about that time to find any kind of literature on anything, I'm sure you felt the same way. There's nothing. There's nothing in the stores.
Yeah.
The only thing you can get is maybe Linda Goodman's sun signs, or you could get like a little cheap astrology thing for your sign, or something like that. And now we're so heads and shoulders. Yeah.
Inundated. I came to astrology by I had a bit of a kind of, I would call it a bit of a spiritual awakening myself in 89, I suppose. And a friend of mine studied astrology, and she calculated my chart for me and kind of did a little reading. And I was like, whoa, I've always been interested in astrology, but this is
something else. Yeah.
And so she gave me some books, and that was it.
Oh, and then you just took off with that.
I didn't start doing it professionally till 2012.
Well, there's something about that with all of us in a way. The energy that we want, the energy exchange is really good to have, because I don't do readings or anything like that, but the energy exchange is good. But at the same time, there are people out there. I remember I wanted to go on a fire walk, and I'm glad I didn't, because I probably wouldn't have been able to handle it. But they wanted to go on a fire walk. Could you stop interrupting me, please? I'm in the middle of a show. Thank you. And
working from home, peril.
And I wanted to see how much it cost. And this was probably in about 1990. And it was $2,900 or something then.
Whoa.
Yeah. And I thought, boy, this is something else. I can't afford that. And I felt like it was leaving out a lot of people who really could have benefited from something like that. A friend of mine scraped up the money and went, but ended up burning her feet. So she wasn't in good shape for doing, and I thought to myself, that might have been me. So it's all good. I wasn't going to pay that much
to do a fire walk.
A sweat lodge, a medicine wheel, all those things. I've done that, and very valuable experience, and close energies with the Native American. But when did you turn and find your interest was more in shamanism?
Well, it was kind of always lurking. But
okay.
Like I said, I went in 1989 when I discovered astrology. I went to those sweat lodges, and I went back to England then and went to college finally as a mature student. And my major was American history and literature. During which I specialized in Native American literature and history, and so I've got this pile of books on, Black Elk Speaks, all that.
Oh, yeah.
I've just always had this deep calling to explore Native American culture and shamanism, and since we moved back to the US, or since I moved here with my family, I've dragged them to Wounded Knee, and I dragged them to all these places.
Absolutely. Yeah. I've been to is it the Cherokee where they're making the monument? Is it Geronimo? I can't remember who it is. They've been working on it for a long time. Crazy Horse. Okay.
Yeah, I've been there too.
Have you? Yeah.
I always have these magical experiences. When we went to the Dakotas and I went to the Crazy Horse Monument, we happened to turn up on the day that they do the public explosions that kind of honors one of the holidays for Crazy Horse. And I had no idea it was going to be. These things just kind of come my way. So
I've had that happen too. I went to visit a friend in Florida, and I used to have a drum circle because my husband's a chiropractor, and we used to do it like on a Tuesday night. We'd have a drum circle, and I love all of that energy. That's beautiful. And I went to visit my friend in Florida, and she I don't know, she was looking for metaphysical things to do in Florida when I was there. And she said, let's go over to this little shop in this little area. It's like, I said, all right, let's do it. So we go over there and they said, are you here for the drum circle? And I said, I don't know. Are we here for the drum circle? Because I didn't know how long we could stay. And she said, oh, yeah. So there's probably about 40, 50 people there. I didn't have a drum with me. They handed me a drum and everything. And I'm sitting there and I didn't say anything, about my experience or anything else. And the next thing I know, the woman turns and she looks straight at me and she said, this woman has come to us from a very far distance. Tell us everything you know, something like that. And I was, wow. And my friend who, she was open to all this stuff, but she wasn't necessarily, she's like, her eyes pop out of her head. And so it was magical. It was very magical that happened. And certainly nothing I expected to happen, So I understand. It's nice when that happens. It's like affirmation you're in the right place, isn't it?
Oh, and I've got hundreds of stories like that.
I bet you do.
I went to the World Parliament of Religions here in Salt Lake.
Oh.
I didn't even have a ticket, but a friend of mine didn't want to go every day, so she let me use her ticket. And on the day I went, I kind of ended up around all these Native American people there, and I don't know if you've heard of Chief Phil Lane. He runs the Four Winds, I think, Shamanism.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Anyway, he's one of the native chiefs that's kind of well known, and I got introduced to him, and he just looked me in the eyes and said, "We've met before. Nice to see you again." And I'm like, "Oh." So it just keeps happening. So anyway,
I understand. I do. In 1995, I was at a Whole Life Expo in Santa Fe. And I absolutely love New Mexico. It's where I would be if as a second choice. And I was with my two kids. We drove over because we were living in Texas at the time. And we get there, and Danyon Brinkley, I'm sure you've heard of Danyon. He was saved by the light. He was hit by a bolt of lightning like 5 times. And he's written several books. And we were going to listen to him. And he looked right at the three of us and he said, well, you've come a long way, the three of you, and you're here again doing it, or something like that. And we're like, wow. Yeah.
I do. I'm kind of very cautious about being culturally appropriative or whatever, though. I don't want to, go around pretending I'm a Native American or anything.
No, I know.
There is a fine line with that. There is. So I'm very careful about that, and I practice core shamanism, which is kind of brings the core, Sandra Ingerman's kind of line.
Yes.
So that I'm not kind of really taking anybody's culture.
Anything, No, I understand. And another lady that's in the chat here, who is a wonderful woman, Andrea Galvin. She was taught by a man, a Native American white Feather, I think his name is.
Oh, right.
And so she and I are doing this series on everyday shamanism. We've been working on that, and she's the one bringing that to everybody. She's fabulous. But, I always like to hear, because it's almost as though you bring up something like shamanism or whatever, and then all the people that really know all about it all start coming out and talking about it. And beautiful diversity. Yeah. So thank you. Yeah. Thanks, Andrea. I figured you would like this. And I didn't even realize you were a shaman.
I didn't know about that.
I didn't know about that. Yeah, I didn't know. And I think it's wonderful. It really is. It's great. It's great. So what if you had a free day, to do whatever you wanted, sort of metaphysically, if you could go anywhere, do anything, what would you like to do? What would interest you?
I like walking, so I like to I go up. We've got the mountains here.
Sure. Yeah.
So I like to walk in the mountains if it's not middle of winter like it is now.
Like it is right now. Yeah.
Yeah. Being out in nature more, but otherwise, if I can't get out and about, just lying around listening to books or reading, because I have
you're just
too many books.
My daughter is a Sagittarius, and last year she read I think 65 books. and she's works, and she doesn't have any children, but every year I pick up a book and I go, look at this, I want to read this, and she said, oh, I read that a few years ago.
Yeah. I have a serious bad book habit.
No, it's
But
nothing
again,
wrong.
they just come my way too. My
Yeah.
husband and I used to do a lot of estate sales and yard sales,
Oh yeah.
and
Yeah.
I have a whole collection of astrology books that I found at an estate sale, and
Mhm.
offered them $100 for all the books, and
Yeah.
I've got more books than I could possibly ever read because
I
I think
understand.
I have a bit of ADHD. I rarely
You're not
actually
alone. You're not
finish the
alone. Yeah.
book.
I have so many, and then I can't find them, or I thought I
Yes.
gave them to somebody, and I have to get them again because I like them so much. Like Women Who Run with Wolves. I read that, when it came out, and I've read it 3 other times because
Yeah,
I just really enjoy that.
yeah.
There's
I've I've
actually, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I've actually started with Audible as well because,
Me too. For
I
when
find
I'm walking.
when I walk,
Mhm.
I can actually
Yes.
take it in more than actually looking at the page, so
I like it too, and I didn't think I would.
I didn't.
I don't think I could sit down and listen to it, but when
No,
I'm walking, it's like a walking meditation.
it is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and I can't do it when I'm driving or just sitting
Uh-huh.
there, no.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it would
My
just
daughter says, "How can
I
you
wish they wouldn't hear
concentrate?"
it.
Uh-huh. She says, "How can you concentrate on that?" And I said, because I think it was I was listening to some fiction, and she
Mm,
said I could listen to nonfiction, but I don't think I could listen to fiction. And I'm thinking it's not a problem. And I'm a person that teaches literature.
okay.
So yeah, usually I have to look at it and highlight it, do all that stuff. But no, and that's been since the pandemic,
Yeah,
actually.
it does
You
for me
too?
too. Yeah.
Yeah. Did you find you had any other things change during the pandemic? Did you spend a lot of time at home?
Well, I mean, I always did anyway because I
Okay,
work from home, but my husband
right.
works from home more now, and yeah, our whole lives have changed really. So,
Yeah.
and I
We,
I no longer desire to go back to normal, as
I
people say.
don't either. Well, there won't be a
Oh,
normal
well, they
anyway.
won't. So it's a good job I don't want to.
I understand, and I'm teaching from home and doing this from home, and I rarely go out
Yeah,
unless, like, I went to the post office today and I had to mail something, and I thought, "Oh my God, this is horrible." So
yeah,
yeah, and I think it offered us all. I had a series going for a while called Resilience during COVID, and because a lot of people had to get used to it, and a lot, and I don't know if it's because I'm older or that if you're an older person, you don't mind it as much. I don't even know, but it
yeah.
seems like some of us that are older don't mind that we're okay with it. What the
Well,
younger people, they like going out.
I have a whole kind of opinion on that,
Oh,
resilience.
you do? Okay, tell me.
I I've talked about it a lot during the pandemic, and especially as it applies to younger people and children, because
Yep.
when I was a teenager, I lived in Northern Ireland during the Troubles in a war zone,
Oh,
basically. And
wow.
everybody goes, "Oh, that must have been awful," and things, and I said, "No, it wasn't. You build resilience, and
Yes.
you
Yes.
learn that you can cope with the tougher things in life." And it actually gave me a lot of strength, and, I said, "Stop telling your children that they're suffering during the pandemic.
I know. You're
If
putting that right into their mind.
you tell
Yeah.
them they're suffering,
Yeah.
then they will
Yeah.
think they're suffering."
I agree 100%. No, I absolutely do.
Yeah,
And it's all in the way you look at it.
yeah,
It really is. I mean, my mom would tell me stories about because she died many years ago and I was the baby. So
mm,
I'm, tagging in here at 66. But in the 40s with my brothers, they had the not food stamps, but ration stamps. My
mm,
father was away for 5 years in World War II, and she
mm,
had to, be with my brother and all
yeah,
that, and living, who know, and all you had was mail that came in once in a while,
yeah,
and I often thought to myself, "Oh my God, how did you do that?" But it does bring you resilience. It brings you autonomy and the ability to handle more, even if you don't really want to. But
yeah.
you have no choice. Yeah,
But it also, kind of teaches you what you really need to survive and what you really value.
right.
And astrologically, looking to the year ahead, we're moving into a time where all the eclipses are going to be in that area of our charts. We're really going to be looking at kind of our desires versus what we actually need and things, and our values are we're really being asked to kind of look at what we really value and hopefully move away from this very shallow materialistic kind of culture.
Yeah.
So.
Wow, I think some people have discovered so much more about themselves spiritually because they've had the time to do it, and that's why we have so many channels now here, which is great. I think it's fabulous, and a lot of people, even in the chat, they grow and they're talking about learning their own stuff, and it's been fabulous. But they've taken advantage of the time that they had, so that's valuable to them. Yeah, absolutely. And a lot of people are going to be pretty disappointed if they aren't going to find something that they can feel good about. There'll be a lot of depression and things like that.
There are, I'm afraid. Yeah, I think it's
Yep.
Yeah.
But
that's where our free will comes in, of how we respond to what's going on around us.
Definitely, and to keep your chin up and so on. As the British would say, keep calm and carry on. I love that. So we have 3 passes here in Washington State that come and truck in the food and truck in, everything coming over from Spokane. And then we have one that comes through another place and another one that's further up.
Yeah.
All 3 of them have been shut down now due to 236 inches of snow.
Yeah, my daughter lives in Des Moines.
Oh, she does?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's
down there. I live
in my youngest daughter.
Yeah, but I'm up here in Oak Harbor on Whidbey Island right now. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Then is she having shortages? That's what I was going to say. We're having shortages.
Well, I think she basically eats ramen. So.
Okay, she must be getting the stuff up from Portland. Yeah.
She's only 21.
So. Oh, she's 21. She can have ramen noodles and she'll be happy, probably.
I should ask her, though. She works in a restaurant. I should ask her.
Oh, she does. Okay. Okay. So anyway, we're out here on the island, and we're like the last one that gets it anyway.
Yeah.
And so I went to the grocery store, I don't know, a day or 2 ago, and they had nothing. Nothing. I mean, no eggs, no this, no that. But what really was amazing was that they had beautiful grapes. Beautiful thing of grapes. That was $8 for grapes. And I don't eat meat, so I eat chicken, ground chicken, and that was $8. It's like you have to really be rich to get through this, this kind of thing, Yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize it was that bad. She doesn't tell me things like that.
And it might not be that bad in Des Moines, because she's down in the city or area. This place is up here on the Sound. It's way up, and we're only about 80 miles to Canada. Up here. Yeah. So that's interesting. Oh, wow. So Juneau, I know they never have this much snow. It's not where I am. It's on the passes, but the snow is Buffalo. I've been there and I agree with you. Buffalo's amazing. Buffalo. Oh my God, with the snow.
I have to say, I love it that there's somebody called Juno here.
Isn't that great?
Asteroid Juno is also very prominent in my chart, and is being squared by my asteroid. Juno is being squared by Jupiter right now, and I called my Roomba Juno.
Those things are a riot. My dog just stands there and barks at them all the time. I did too. I went through the blizzard of 77.
Nice to meet you too.
But I was in Massachusetts at the time, and my daughter was 2 months old, because it was right on the 77, 78, and we couldn't do anything. I mean, it was a parking lot on the highways. Anyway, Juno says, nice to meet you. She does her art. She's currently making a mandala, a lotus mandala. She's very talented. So
I assume this mandala in the picture is
I know, isn't it gorgeous?
Gorgeous.
I know.
I love mandalas. On my website,
Uh-huh.
I have owl mandalas, kind of as things that a friend of mine created. So
that's wonderful. That's wonderful. So how often do you offer your classes, just in case people want to know about it?
Well, the Venus retrograde class is only every 19 months because that's when
Okay.
Venus goes retrograde.
That's okay. Yeah.
And I don't really do any other classes because I'm always so busy writing and things. But I do have a membership community, the Venus Enchantment,
Right.
and
Hmm.
I do a monthly call on that kind of tracks the Venus cycle and talks about everything. So,
Uh-huh.
and then I do readings, of course. So,
Of
yeah.
course. Yeah.
But I'm also very friendly, so I'd love it if people come and follow my Facebook page and
Oh, absolutely.
my
I'll be putting it, yeah,
YouTube channel and everything.
yes. I'll
Yeah.
absolutely put your information right up on this when it's over with. And yeah, I'm sure I have a very good community who
Cool.
are very supportive of the people I bring on. So
Yeah.
I thank you for that.
And I do daily posts, so
Uh-huh.
you know,
Good.
so they might get some benefit out of those, kind of talking about what's happening in the world. So
Sure.
yeah.
So Andrea, I'm finding that renewing daily commitment to enthusiasm. Yeah. Otherwise we do sink into a lower vibration. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
And
awesome.
the walking has helped me with that.
Walking yourself.
I
Mhm.
started walking 4 miles a day, most days. I haven't kind of done it as much over the holidays because
With
of
the
the weather
holiday.
and things, but
Yep.
4 miles a day just seems to keep my head straight. It just
You know, I was doing 7. I was doing 7 miles a day, and I started getting bunions and all, and I even had the shoes that were for that
yeah.
problem. I had to stop. I couldn't walk.
Oh,
And
no.
it was so awful because I loved it. And I was going through all these audio books. It was,
Yeah.
I mean, I found authors I'd never heard of before, and I would,
Me
listen to
too.
new and old ones. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, what a
But
shame.
I know.
Maybe you can start again, but,
I think it's because it's more urban walking and it's harder.
mhm.
It's not walking on a pathway necessarily. It's on
I found books called shoes called Skechers Joy Walk, and
the
they
okay.
they just are like walking on clouds, and I'm walking
Really?
on sidewalks, so
Okay. I'll have to check it out. The ones I bought were for bunions and other problems you had with your feet
mm.
for old folks, and they were like $150 for
Oh,
them. And
these are like $40-50.
oh, I know. Yeah. Well, I was
The ones
walking in
are
those first,
yeah,
that type of shoe.
yeah,
But they did help, but
yeah,
I wasn't able to keep up. And then I thought, well, I could cut back to half of that, like you, with maybe 4 miles, because it
yeah.
really isn't that long.
It
It
really
would
is.
take me about what, an hour and a half or for 7. So I was chucking right along.
Yeah, my
But
4 usually takes me just over an hour and 10.
uh-huh,
Yeah.
uh-huh. That's
Mhm.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, and see, Tracy's going to follow you,
Thank
and other people will
you.
probably follow suit. So yes, absolutely. Did you see the pandemic coming in the astrology chart?
I wouldn't no, I wouldn't
No.
say I saw a pandemic coming, but
Okay.
we did know challenging
Something.
times were coming. The
Okay.
only astrologer that really kind of foresaw it as a pandemic was a French astrologer who's no longer alive. He actually predicted it
Oh,
before he died, André
okay.
Barbeau, and
Hmm.
he predicted a pandemic. But let's say none of us were surprised when it was a pandemic.
No, it really wasn't, was it? No.
No.
It's just like the fact that I honestly believe it's just not going to go away anytime soon. So I'm just used to wearing a mask and, staying home or whatever it is. And
I do for astrological reasons. I do think this kind of next month or so is kind of with this Omicron spreading is really a kind of a last big blast before it kind of gets
okay.
endemic. And oh, you watch the Astrology of Pandemics. Cool.
Yeah, I gotta watch that.
Yeah, maybe
Yeah.
I can find time to watch that too. But,
Uh-huh.
there's been various, and I won't go into the technical details, there's been various astrological things that have happened since
Mhm.
the pandemic began that have tied in with the times of the biggest peaks and things, and
Uh-huh.
that's all kind of breaking up and starting to end. So
Okay.
I'm not
Okay.
saying it's just gonna
No,
be
I know. No, no. Especially with Pluto and what Pluto's going to be doing. And that's,
yeah.
what is it, like around July or whatever, we're back in that 290-year
Mhm.
recycle or whatever you want to call it. See, I
Oh,
don't have the right lingo.
just for the
Yeah.
USA, yeah,
Yeah. For the USA. Do you do
Pluto's
that? Have
returning
you
to
done
where
that before? Have you done like a chart on a place or
Oh
like
yeah.
stars. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, look at it.
It's so interesting.
I've
Yeah.
looked at the USA Pluto return.
Oh, you have. Okay. I'll have to
Yeah.
go back and check. It's probably in your.
I don't know if I did a video on it or
Oh,
whether I
okay.
looked at it.
Okay.
It is gonna, change the face of the US for sure. But
Yeah.
hopefully, oh, thank you, Jean.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's.
I'm hoping it can be a peaceful
I am too. Yeah.
transformation.
I am too. I had just heard on the news, and I'm not a big news watcher anymore because it's too disturbing, but I did hear on the news that the Department of Homeland Security is fielding all kinds of threats to our leaders.
Oh,
Yeah.
awful. And there are a couple of dates I would kind of be wary of if people are interested.
Okay.
There's March the 3rd is kind of a real kind of
Tough day.
yeah.
Okay. All right.
And I'm not saying something would happen on the
I
day,
understand, but it's a tough day. Okay.
and then around July the 4th, unsurprisingly, really, that's kind of another kind of trigger kind of day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Last night they reported that, and I don't know if we knew this. Maybe people did know this. I did not know this. That January 6th, his cabinet said to him, "You will go on and tell these people to stop, or we will use the 25th Amendment."
Yeah.
And I had not heard that before
No,
last night.
I heard that last night too.
Yeah. I mean, that, thank God, because I thought they were just as crazy as he was, for not doing that at that point.
Well, most of them were nearly that crazy, but suddenly they saw that this is just too much.
Yeah, they grew some. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. Oh, the whole thing was so awful. So Lauren said she's glad to hear that. Do you know who Sterling is? Sterling is a wonderful fellow. He works with Linda Grindle. I don't know if you know who she is, but they're both psychics. And Sterling does mostly, he's read actors and actresses. He's been with the Hollywood community, and he has his own channel on here. And so every once in a while, he'll come on and he'll give some predictions.
What's his last
name? He doesn't have one, or he doesn't list one. Sterling, I'll find it and I'll send it to you.
If he just calls himself Sterling, I'll look
Sterling Psychic Medium. Yeah. And Linda Grindle is the other one that works with him every 2 weeks. She does her own show too. But she was one of the first people I found, and a lot of other people found, when we were looking for relief from the Orange Man.
Yes.
Yeah, he is on Sundays. Sterling Psychic Medium is how he shows.
Thank you.
Yeah. But yeah, he's another one that we work with Linda, and then we watch some readers. There's a lot of people that I'd say, because I opened my channel up on November 2020, and I had listened all summer to everybody, what was going on, but then right up before the election day and all that, I thought, oh my God, I gotta do something here, and then it's been very, I've been very blessed since that time. Yeah. So you also have a Facebook page, is that right?
Yep. Cosmic Owl Astrology. Everything's called Cosmic Owl Astrology.
It's all called Cosmic Owl.
And I'm on Instagram too. I don't really do Twitter.
Okay. I don't either. No. So you have Instagram.
Thank you, Ashley. I'll look up the YouTube channel. Actually,
and Facebook. All right. And I'm excited. Will we know that you have written something when we look at tarot.com? Will it have your name on?
Does it have my name on, actually? Probably not.
No. Okay. Because you're in that group. Yeah.
If you read the love horoscopes daily, though, then
the love horoscopes.
The love ones that I'll be writing. So my first ones I'm writing now are for March. So it's the second half of March.
All right. So that's why you knew that March 3rd was going to be a tough day.
Oh,
but in a different way, not for the love thing. Yeah.
I look at the year ahead.
Oh, Juno's so sweet. I feel like I've known you forever. That's the way people make me feel on here. Like, we just like that person said, oh, I've met you. It's nice to see you again. That's kind of what I'm feeling as well. It's just a lot of love that's shared. And
Yeah.
does anybody have any questions at all for
Oh, I'm
Louise?
happy to answer questions. I
Yeah.
came armed with some thoughts about the
Okay.
year ahead, if anybody's
Please,
interested in that.
please. Yes.
Venus
Tell
would
us.
be love. Yes, Venus is
Uh-huh.
love.
Definitely.
And that's why
Yeah.
I love Venus. So
Mhm.
I think I don't want to go into too much detail, but I just
Mhm.
kind of wanted to give a few highlights for the year. I
Yes,
kind of gave the
please.
warning days, but we've got nice days too.
Good.
Kind of after the end of January, we've started the year with all the planets in one half of the chart, which is called a draconic bowl, and that's a time of the black snake, it's called. And that's
Okay.
what's happening with all this Omicron and all this
Oh.
um, but after the end of this month, the planets start to move that and start to move forward. And so
Okay.
things will start to ease as they move forward. But
Mhm.
from February the 3rd to April the 29th, all the planets are moving direct. So that's going to be a really good time,
Oh,
apart
yeah.
from the odd kind of blip, apart from
Yeah.
the 3rd. But for
Mhm.
things to really start moving ahead for us all personally.
Mhm.
We also have a couple of other big things. The eclipses and the nodes I mentioned moving into this period of desires versus needs,
Uh-huh.
away from kind of mutable, change, erratic energy. And
Mhm.
it's going to be more settled, I think, because the nodes are in those
Good.
and the eclipses are in those signs. But we
Mhm.
also have a really in some ways auspicious period from January the 24th to March the 20th. We have no fire, none of the major planets or and the only thing we'll have in fire is Chiron, I think. Then, anyway, no
Mhm.
fire is a time. You would think it would be a not good time, but it's actually a time of huge inspiration. It's kind of like
Ooh.
we go to the missing element, and fire is kind of creative inspiration. So
Uh-huh.
that's, for those of you, especially that work for yourselves or work in the kind of work we do, you're going to feel very inspired and moving forward and that kind of stuff. So
That's awesome. Look
yeah,
at that, you
so
guys. You're all doing well. See, you started early and then you're
yeah.
going to take off. Yeah.
Then we have Jupiter has just moved into Pisces, which he's the old traditional ruler of Pisces, and
Uh-huh.
we've already got Neptune in Pisces. We've had that for a long time, and that this is the first time they're both going to meet in Pisces since 1865, and that's a time of huge rise up of spirituality and belief and faith.
Okay.
So, like the spiritual movement, and
Yes.
theosophists and things all kind of came
Right.
out of the last time
They
this happened.
did. They
So,
did. Yes.
yeah.
Wow. So I have my students doing research writing, and they can pick their topic. And one of the gals said to me yesterday, "I want to do it on spirituality. I believe that there's a huge resurgence of spirituality in different from the 1980s till now." And I'm like, okay.
She's obviously feeling that Jupiter. So,
She
yeah,
was, I know.
yeah,
And it's almost like you can find people of kindred spirit. You're not so afraid of saying something because, there are some people
yeah.
that would, think you were weird or whatever. But, you're finding people that you've interacted with before in the real world,
Yeah.
and they're telling you things you had no idea that they were interested in.
So, despite, I don't think we're out of the challenges yet, but I do
Okay.
think there's a lot of magic to come in this year. And
Ooh, okay.
And, looking at the numbers, which I do on my podcast, it's a 6 year, which is more of a
Right.
creative year, and I kind of have a really good feeling about it, and I think we're gonna move away more from the, me kind of thing,
Good.
and I'm sovereign, I do what I like and, screw whatever,
Mhm.
and more to a
Mhm.
time of caring for each other.
Wow, I love that.
Yeah.
I really so I knew it was a 6 year. I mean, and my husband opened up his business, which is a chiropractic office, and we opened it on 11/11. I purposefully did that.
Yeah.
But we're going to have our grand opening, and our grand opening is going to be on 2/2/2022 at 2:02.
Oh, nice. Nice.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. Yeah.
Yeah. I love the 2 as well. So
I know it. It's great. So
yeah.
Lauren says her girlfriend and her is going to start making clothing for cats and donating the money. That's wonderful. How are cats and clothing? I mean, my dog is okay with clothing, but I don't know. Have you tried your cat with any clothing?
My cats wouldn't.
Like, yeah. It's funny. It's like when you, I've watched dogs that have those little doggy boots put on their feet, and it's like they can't walk. I'm thinking the cat might be
But cat
that.
clothing, if they've got a wound or something, is very useful because it stops it.
I know. They have to get used to that.
Yeah.
Look at this. She was born at 3:33 on the 300. Wow. That's amazing. And my girlfriend's granddaughter was born 11/11/11.
Wow.
And I thought that was an awesome
And do you
number.
know there's a lot of 3s and 6s and 9s highlighted in this year? And I don't know if you know that Nikola Tesla said that if we understood the 369 code, we'd understand the meaning of the universe. So you're probably quite tuned into the 369.
She is. She is. Yeah. She definitely is. Yeah, and she's growing even more. I've seen it in a very short period of time.
Yeah.
There's that 369 affirmations too, that you write something in the morning 3 times, in the afternoon 6 times, and the night at 9 times. Yeah. To see if you can get something to move. So wow, that is fabulous.
And I think they're very feminine. It's because I really think the divine feminine energy in all of us is rising up, and
I agree.
Just look at the shape of the numbers; they're curvy, they're more female. So.
Yeah, like the little goddess statues. They're all busty and hippie. And that's awesome. That's wonderful.
Cool. Yeah.
Well, I can't thank you enough for coming to the show and telling us all about what you do, and everybody's going to check out your
on Facebook or somewhere because I'm sorry, I didn't know who you were, but I'm like, oh no, this sounds like fun. So
I'm glad. No, it's okay. You didn't know, because there's a lot of people that didn't know who you were that are probably here today. That's why I wanted you here. But I appreciate you being open to it because it's so much fun to find new people. And when I found you, I thought, wow. Well, I mean, I was really drawn to the Cosmic Owl. I mean, it just really resonated to me. So that's really awesome. There it is. Yeah.
Thanks, Juno. And
Thank
you all for being here and watching. So
yes, thank you, community. You're wonderful. Thanks to my people administrating the chat, and thanks for all your comments in the comment section. We all love you. And thanks.
You'll have to send me a link. Send me a link to it, and I'll share it on my page. And
okay, we'll do.
And send them back to your page. So
that would be nice. Yeah. Thank you, Louise. Yeah. In the meantime, enjoy your next walk whenever you take it.
Thank you.
We'll come over to your channel and check out what you have to say. And thank you for bringing some of those positive things. I mean, I know this is not always positive, but some positive magic to the channel here. I really appreciate it.
And I'd like to encourage everybody to set new Venus intentions tomorrow, because Venus is the sun tomorrow, and it's kind of like a big new moon.
So if you're setting Venus intentions, is it different from setting new moon
or
full moon? No, not really. Okay.
Except it's more around relationship and values. And
right. And femininity. Yes, definitely. All right. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you again. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you, Louise.
Thank you.